Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week. I'm Mike Pizzone, joined by Jeremy Stout, and we're here at Woodstock Union High School, where it's the visiting Yellow Jackets with a comfortable 28-19 lead, and they get the ball back to start the half here. So, Jeremy, what in particular does Woodstock need to do to get back in this game?
Well, obviously they need to play a little bit better defense, and I think really, not that they played terrible defense, but they just have to come up with a game plan to stop Wilcox, which might be easier said than done. As we see there, Erica Gray with the opening basket.
So a good start to the Yellow Jackets and trying to put this thing out of hand early as Schultz comes up a little short on that floater opportunity.
And as I say, you have to stop Wilcox. They did a great job down there making her pass it off, but of course Gray with a nice basket.
Just a reminder to watch the YCN News every weekday at 7 and 10 p.m. on YCN, your local view. You can also tune into YCN's Outside Television on Comcast HD, Channel 713 or Channel 21 for all the outdoor adventures you love.
And here's where I think Woodstock needs to improve a little bit more on, as we talked about during the break, that they've gotten some open shots, just haven't been able to fall, but maybe trying to get some more inside penetration and try and dribble drive or some slashing and see what they can do.
So we see Luce with the ball now, guarded by Gray. Puts up the three-pointer. And a good rebound by the Yellow Jackets. That was Casey Herschel coming down with the board. Wilcox with it now. And Wilcox, I know she wasn't able to get the shot off there, but really able to make her own space.
Yeah, weaving through the paint, three defenders. Just lost the handle before she went up with it, but then she was able to take it back and they didn't lose possession. But yeah, just not quite enough to get the shot, not enough room to get the shot up, but she did weave through the paint pretty nicely.
And a concern for Woodstock is Schultz picks up her third foul of the game here in the early goings as Gray knocks down her second shot of the quarter. So not the start to the second half that Woodstock wanted to see, although Coach Bruce McKay, as we talked about at halftime, a little concerned coming into the matchup. I got to imagine he's feeling pretty good as this team's starting to pull away. Almost a steal, and Gray's going to be called for the foul. Hard to blame her on that one. Saw an opportunity to go for the loose ball, went for it, unfortunately for her, drawing a little bit of contact and picking up the foul. Yeah,
if you're Coach McKay, as you mentioned, a little nervous coming into it. But as we mentioned, Wilcox really coming on strong in that second quarter specifically, but the entire first half, minus the couple minutes she was out with the injury. So you've got to be pleased as how this is going, starting your second half of the season.
And Comstock once again with the board, but good defense by Luce. Making it hard on Comstock. Almost a travel there by Wilcox. Kind of lost her balance when she picked up the pivot foot.
They'll get it back to Wilcox and try a reset here, see what they can get off the dribble or a couple passes.
Another good board. That was Blankeny coming down with it. Schultz bringing it up the floor for Woodstock.
Good swarming defense there by Windsor.
That's a tough foul to call, as Wilcox kind of stuck her hand out there and the Schultz drive knocked the ball away, but she's going to be called for the foul.
And there's a little confusion. It looked like they were going to say it was white ball, but there was somebody at the free throw line, so they are going to say.
Yeah, I think they thought it was potentially a shooting foul, or at least that's what Schultz was trying to argue for.
Well, it looked like they called the foul on the drive, and she was fouled as she was going to the hole. It was pretty clear about that, so I think that's what the confusion was.
Nice pass by Wilcox, unable to be handled by Comstock. Just a reminder to tune in every week for the River Valley and Kearsarge Chronicles for the who, what, where, and when shows of the region. They premiere at 7:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Thursday right here on YCN, your local view. Offensive foul. I think that's going to go against Luce, as you saw Wilcox hit the floor hard.
I believe so. No, they're not. That is going to go on number 21, Blakeney.
Must have been on the screen or pick there.
Right, because Luce had the ball.
Comstock with it now for the Yellow Jackets. Passes it across the court to Gray. Back over to Wilcox now, and that's going to be picked off by Schultz, and Schultz drives to the hoop a little hard on the layup. Offensive board by Luce. And Luce is kind of going to reset things. Pop a shot from the foul line. Another offensive board, and Schultz is going to be fouled by Comstock, and this time she will go to the line for 2. So with that, we'll take a quick TV timeout. And we're back here at Woodstock Union High School with Maddie Schultz on the line for 2. Have a chance to cut into that Windsor lead.
Not able to convert the first one. They're still looking for their first point of the second half. And a good defensive stop down on the other end for Woodstock. But when they get the ball, just not able to convert. At least they do have an opportunity now at the free throw line. But a couple shots didn't fall before they drew the foul.
Schultz does knock that one down. And we've seen this kind of in a couple of our other games of the week this year, where this charity stripe has not been too friendly to some of our local teams. And it's something that they call it the charity stripe for a reason. It should be relatively easy buckets.
Yeah, Woodstock so far 3 for 6 on the early going.
As Gray knocks down that shot for Windsor. She's had a big third quarter. So the Yellow Jackets ahead by 15 points now midway through the third quarter. Really starting to put the Wops in a hole as Schultz drives hard to the floor, but she's going to be fouled. And that's going to send her back to the line for 2. So she's getting pretty familiar with this foul line. And Windsor's going to take a timeout. So we'll watch Schultz take those free throws after the break from our YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week, brought to you by La Valley Building Supply. And after a timeout from Windsor, Schultz is now set to take these 2 free throws here with her team down 15 here midway through the third quarter.
As you mentioned, Schultz at the line now for the 3rd time tonight. 1 for 5. So really needs to start converting that if they want to start cutting into this Windsor lead.
And she does knock down the second one again.
But we have seen a little bit of a changed up strategy by Woodstock. They are driving a little bit more, as we've seen. Schultz getting to the line twice in this third quarter. So maybe that's what and they're playing good defense. That's another nice stop. So here's where they need to set that offense up and get a basket if they want to cut into this lead.
And you're absolutely right. You did say that was one of the keys for Woodstock in trying to come back here as Schultz is called for the travel. But one of those keys was playing good defense, and you have the numbers in front of you. I don't know that Windsor has had too much success offensively in this quarter. So it seems to me like Woodstock is doing they're holding up their end of the bargain on the defensive end. They're just not making the baskets on offense that it's going to help them come back.
Yeah, they've only given up 7 points so far in the third quarter. Not a bad number for the first 5 minutes into it, but the problem is they've only scored 2 points, so that deficit has become even larger.
Right. As Schultz comes down with a good rebound once again. I mean, a lot of empty possessions for Windsor, as we've been talking about, but can Woodstock convert?
And a lot of coaches, frankly, not even at the high school level, but every level, say, defense wins and you got to play good defense. But in this sport, you can't score while you're on defense like you can in football. So you need to stop them, but then you need to come back and score.
And Schultz coming up with the offensive board and putback. I mean, you can really see why she is so valuable for this Yellow Jackets team. I mean, really doing it all. The defense, the rebounding, and the scoring. Everything that Coach Bruce McKay needs to see here from his team. As you see the quick hands once again, forcing Luce all the way back into the backcourt. Unfortunately called for the foul there, being a little too aggressive, but you'd love to see that kind of tenacity out of your star guard.
Yeah, especially when you're up 16 points, still giving it your all and still hustling. But here's where it comes down to. You've got 2.5 minutes left in this third quarter, down 16. You've got to start getting some stops and some scores.
Just a reminder, if your business is interested in advertising on YCN or you'd like your team televised, email us at info@ycnnow.com. Little drop back pass there by Abrahamson. Gets it back to her in the paint, and she converts the layup. So a little delayed give and go, but still the same effect. And Abrahamson with the bucket, putting the Yellow Jackets ahead 39-21.
Abrahamson quietly has 10 points on the evening for Windsor. They extend their lead 8-18.
Good bucket there by Blankeny. As Wilcox, quick up the floor on the other end, gives it over to Gray. Abrahamson once again. And that's going to be Schultz coming up with the defensive board.
Only one field goal so far in this quarter by Woodstock. And just not a very good effort there. Not able to convert.
Wilcox driving hard, drawing the foul, and really making a case for herself to be named our H.R. Clough Kearsarge Heating Oil Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game. Still a little early to make that call, but certainly making a case for herself.
Yeah, by my count, she has 13 points, and she'll go to the free throw line for 2 here to try to add to that game-high total.
Knocks down the first one with ease. I don't think that ball even touched the rim. So we're going to see a substitution here as Comstock checks back into the game for the Yellow Jackets. Inside the final minute and a half here in the third quarter. And Wilcox is going to convert too, as Gray's going to check in for the shooter. Give Wilcox a little bit of a rest.
And as we talked about, not great free throw shooting for both teams, but Wilcox 3 for 4 tonight, so she's been able to get it done for the most part from the charity stripe.
Abrahamson comes up with the loose ball, gets it ahead to Comstock. And aggressive defense by the Woodstock is going to draw a foul, so we're going to take a quick break from our YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week, brought to you by LaValle Building Supply. I'm Mike Pizzone, joined by Jeremy Stout. And Jeremy, the Yellow Jackets continuing to pull away here in the final minute of the third quarter.
Yeah, the 18-point lead, which was only 9 at halftime, so they've doubled their lead here in this third quarter behind some nice performances by Wilcox with 4.
And look at Abrahamson with that board.
Nice offensive rebound there, and that's another reason why this Windsor team has been able to do what they have, because they're getting second chance points. Woodstock just not be able to box out.
And some quick hands there by the Windsor defense. That's going to remain Woodstock ball. Have you seen our new and improved website, ycnnow.com? Tune in whenever you want on your smartphone or computer for individual news stories, shows, segments, and our Game of the Week. All from YCN, your local view.
I like the effort there by Schultz. Again, going to the hoop, going up strong, and drawing the foul. She'll go back to the line for the third time in this quarter alone.
Yeah, she spent a lot of time at this foul line so far tonight. I think she's getting a little bit frustrated with herself as she's kind of back rims that first shot.
2 points for Schultz this quarter, and Blakeney with 2 as well for Woodstock.
And it should also be noted, as Schultz knocks down that free throw, Wilcox is returning from the trainer's room once again with a bag of ice, so still obviously being bothered by that knee as she continues to limp. So I wonder, with this advantage as we head into the final quarter, if Wilcox may have seen her last action for the night as she starts to ice up that knee.
Yeah, very well could be done for the night, depending on what happens here in the beginning of the fourth quarter. But with a 19-point lead, there's probably no need to, risk further injuring it.
So that's going to do it for the third quarter, with the visiting Windsor Yellow Jackets ahead 43-24. So stay tuned after the break for the final quarter from our YCN Game of the Week.